Darkness is returning to the skies. Not an eclipse, not a storm, but something rarer, the black moon in Virgo, arriving on August 22nd and 23rd. A moon you cannot see, yet its pull is undeniable. For centuries, mystics, monks and seekers have known that when the night holds such silence, the mind opens and the hidden currents of life are felt more strongly. This black moon does not light the heavens, it darkens them. And in that absence a doorway appears, a doorway not outward, but inward. You may already sense its strange dreams, restless thoughts, a feeling that something deep within you is asking to be heard. That is no accident. It is the signal of reset, a chance to unhook from everything false and return to the ground of your being. During these 2 nights, the forces of distraction will be strongest. Noise, anger, restlessness, the urge to cling to habits that drain your spirit, they will rise. But so will the opportunity to let them go. That is why this message is vital, to show you the anti-spiritual traps to avoid and the Shaolin principles that protect you when the unseen tides are strongest. Through this teaching, I will share with you why the black moon is feared by some, revered by others, and how to use its hidden power for your own inner mastery. We will walk through ancient Shaolin practices of focus, discipline, and balance, matters rarely spoken of outside the temple walls. Stay with me until the end, because missing even one of these teachings could mean the difference between being pulled under by shadow or rising with clarity. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. If these words reach you, support our path by subscribing and walk with us on this journey of self-mastery. There are moments when nature itself whispers for silence. The black moon is one of them. Unlike the full moon that floods the night with brightness, this moon hides. It does not rise to be admired. It slips quietly into the sky, unseen, and yet its presence is powerful. The black moon is not a myth or symbol, it is an astronomical truth. It is the 3rd new moon in a single season that holds 4. Such a pattern appears only once every 33 months. For generations, watchers of the heavens understood it as a sign. When light disappears, what remains is the space to see within. Think of it as a pause in the rhythm of the universe. A rare silence between beats. In that stillness, every intention planted carries deeper weight, because it is not competing with noise. The black moon does not ask you to look outward, but to lean inward, into the questions you avoid, into the weight you carry without realizing. This is why ancient teachers treated the black moon as a sacred moment of cleansing. It is a time to let go habits that weaken the spirit, grudges that rot the heart, fears that lock the body in tension. To carry these through the black moon is to drag stones through a narrow gate, release them, and the passage opens. But release alone is not enough. The space created must be filled with clarity. This is where intention becomes vital. To sit in silence and plant a seed of discipline, of awareness, of patience. Seeds sown under the black moon are like roots in dark soil, unseen but strong enough to break stone as they grow. This is the invitation of the black moon, not spectacle but depth. There is a hunger in the human heart that never seems to end. The hunger for recognition, a kind word, a nod of approval, the weight of another's eyes saying, "You are enough." It feels good for a moment, but like water poured into sand, it disappears almost as soon as it arrives. The black moon reminds us to step away from that chase, because in the darkness, no one is watching, no applause, no spotlight, no witness, only you. And this is where true strength is tested. When there is no one to cheer you on, do you still train? When no one sees the effort, do you still live with discipline? When silence surrounds you, do you still stand by your values? Shaolin teaching has always been clear. Mastery is not found in being seen. It is found in being steady. The monk who strikes the wooden dummy is not performing for the crowd. He is breaking his own limits, breath by breath, strike by strike. No recognition is needed, because the transformation itself is the reward. Distraction comes when we let our worth be measured by others. Their praise can lift you, but their criticism can also break you. Both are chains. Both keep you from walking freely on your path. The black moon strips this away. In the unseen darkness, there is no stage. There is only the question, are you living true to your own inner law? To turn inward is to face that question without fear. To release the need for approval is to find the still center that cannot be moved. This is the discipline of inner mastery, the discipline that the black moon quietly calls you to remember. Attention is the most precious resource you hold. Wherever it goes, your life follows. Yet most people scatter it carelessly across screens, endless scrolling, and the fleeting pull of numbers that measure nothing real. Every time a sound, a vibration, or a flashing light calls you, your focus is stolen, and with it, your strength. The ancients knew this well. In the temple, the first lesson was not movement or combat, but awareness. A novice might be asked to stand still and count his breaths, or to watch a single flame for hours. The purpose was not the flame nor the counting, it was to show the mind its own restlessness, to see how easily it wanders, how quickly it escapes into distraction. Modern life is not so different. Notifications are today's temple test. They reveal the same truth: your attention is fragile if left untrained, but discipline transforms it. By turning the gaze inward, by choosing where to place awareness, you reclaim command over your life. This is mastery, not control over others, but over the one thing you truly own: your own mind. Think of attention as water. Pour it everywhere and it soaks the ground, lost without trace. Direct it with care and it becomes a stream strong enough to carve valleys through stone. When your focus is trained on your breath, your movement, your present step, you sharpen a blade that no distraction can dull. The black moon, unseen yet powerful, mirrors this practice. In its darkness, it asks, will you chase shadows outside, or will you sit in silence and guard the flame within? The answer determines whether you remain scattered, or whether you walk the path of true inner strength. When the heavens shift, the body often feels it first. During rare alignments, such as Uranus squaring this black moon, the air itself seems unsettled. You may notice your heart racing without cause, tempers rising quicker than usual, or old wounds resurfacing with sharpness. These are not random moods. They are ripples of cosmic turbulence moving through the field of life. In ancient times, monks and sages would study not just the stars, but their own responses to them. They understood that when the outer world grows unstable, the inner world must be anchored more firmly. Just as a tree bends in the storm yet holds fast to its roots, the practitioner learns to bend without breaking, to feel the winds without being carried away. Reactiveness is the great thief. It takes away choice, pulling you into words and actions that later bring regret. Impulse is fire without control. It may give light for a moment, but it burns what it touches. Emotional storms are natural, but to be ruled by them is to hand away your power. Discipline is the antidote. To pause before speaking, to breathe before deciding, to watch a thought rise and fall without chasing it. This is the training of inner mastery. It is not about suppression but awareness. A warrior does not strike at every sound in the forest. He waits, observes, and chooses the right moment. The black moon magnifies both shadow and light. Under its unseen influence, impulses feel louder, emotions more raw. Yet this is the perfect training ground. Each time you resist the pull of reactivity, you grow steadier. Each breath held in awareness becomes a root deepening into the earth. In turbulence, this is your true strength. Discipline is not fire in the moment. It is stone laid day after day. Feelings rise and fall like waves, but a steady path is built by what you do when the mood is absent. This is why true practice cannot depend on inspiration. If you wait to feel ready, the chance will always slip away. Ancient teachers knew this well. In the monastery, the bell rang before dawn, whether the body ached or not. The monk rose, not because he wanted to, but because rising itself was the training. Step by step, action shaped the mind, until the mind no longer questioned the action. In that rhythm, freedom was found, not the freedom to follow impulse, but the freedom from being ruled by it. Modern life requires the same. Discipline today is less about sweeping the temple yard and more about tending the temple within. Meditation at a set hour, even for a few minutes. Breathing exercises that calm the pulse before it races. A small ritual to mark the start of the day or the close of night. These habits are anchors dropped into the river of time. No matter how the current pulls, they keep you steady. Mood whispers, not today. Discipline replies, every day. Mood says, this is enough. Discipline says, one more step. It is not harshness, it is devotion, devotion to clarity, to inner balance, to a life that cannot be shaken by every passing storm. The black moon, silent and unseen, calls for this kind of steadiness. When outer light disappears, only inner flame can guide you. Discipline is how that flame is kept alive. Small, consistent acts that protect it, until it grows into a fire that no shadow can put out. There is a kind of busyness that looks strong from the outside but quietly drains the spirit within. The body moves quickly, the calendar stays full, the face smiles as if nothing is wrong. Yet beneath it all, the balance is gone. This is not true strength. It is a mask worn over exhaustion. In the old Shaolin halls, balance was more than standing firm on one leg or holding a posture against the wind. Balance meant harmony between effort and rest, action and stillness, giving and receiving. A disciple who trained until collapse was corrected, not praised. For what use is speed if the breath is broken? What use is strength if the spirit is uncentered? Modern life often rewards the illusion. The one who never stops, who answers every call, who carries more than they should, they are called successful. Yet this is the same as pouring water endlessly into a cracked vessel. No matter how much is added, it cannot be held. To master balance, you must be honest with yourself. Stop and listen. Where are you pushing too hard? Where are you pretending peace while holding tension inside? Awareness is the first correction. Discipline is the second. Discipline says pause, breathe, return to center. Just as a martial artist resets their stance before striking again, you must reset your own life before moving forward. The black moon arrives like a teacher of stillness. It hides its face, reminding you that unseen balance is more important than what is shown. To honor this moment is to step back from endless doing and to restore harmony within. Only then can your actions flow with true strength, unforced, unshaken, and whole. Harmony is not the absence of struggle. It is the art of noticing when the strings of life have slipped out of tune. Just as a musician cannot play a true note on an instrument left untended, you cannot walk in balance if you refuse to hear where the discord lies. The path begins with awareness. To sit quietly and ask, what in my life is pulling me away from center? This question is simple, but it requires courage. For often the answer points to habits you have ignored, relationships you cling to, or choices you justify, though they drain your spirit. The first step is not to fix, but to see clearly. In ancient training, masters would watch their disciples in silence. A stance held too rigid, a breath taken too quickly, small signs of imbalance were corrected before they grew into flaws. The same principle applies to life. Notice the small shifts, impatience in your tone, heaviness in your chest, fatigue that lingers. Each is a signal that something is not aligned. Adjustment is the practice. Not harsh, not sudden, but steady. A tree leaning toward one side does not straighten in a day. It bends gradually, guided by the light. So too with the mind, the body, and the heart. Each choice can be a gentle correction. Less noise, more silence. Less rushing, more presence. Less clinging, more letting go. The black moon calls attention to the unseen. In its darkness, it asks you to tune the instrument of your life, to bring discipline not as punishment, but as harmony restored. When imbalance is faced honestly, you return to the rhythm that supports strength, clarity, and peace. This is the quiet power of alignment. There is a heaviness that comes not from the present moment, but from what we refuse to release. Old habits that no longer serve, relationships that have already ended in spirit, fears that whisper the same tired story. These become chains, binding us to places we have already outgrown. In the monastery, a student once carried a bucket of water for hours, refusing to set it down, though his arms shook and his steps slowed. When asked why, he said, "I was told to hold it." The master replied, "Yes, but I did not tell you to carry it forever." This is how many of us live, clutching the weight of the past, unable to see that it is safe even necessary to let it go. The black moon, hidden and rare, is a natural moment for release. It is darkness that cleans the slate, silence that clears the field for new seeds. To cling in such a time is to miss the gift being offered. Growth cannot occur in soil already crowded with weeds. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means loosening your grip so that the hands, the heart, the mind can open again. Discipline is needed here because release is not easy. The habit calls you back. The fear feels familiar. The attachment promises comfort. But strength is not in holding tightly. It is in trusting the space that follows. When you surrender what weighs you down, you create room for what is real. Like the tree that sheds its leaves to survive the winter, you must sometimes let parts of your life fall away. Only then can the roots draw deeper strength, preparing for the growth that awaits in the seasons to come. The black moon does not illuminate the sky, it conceals it. In that concealment lies its lesson to turn not toward the light but toward the shadows we often avoid. Shadows are not enemies. They are the hidden corners of the mind where fears, doubts, and unexamined habits quietly live. To ignore them is to let them rule you in silence. To face them is to reclaim your strength. Ancient practice often required solitude. A disciple would spend days in stillness, not to escape the world, but to meet what stirred within. Anger rising like fire, sorrow pressing heavy in the chest, the restless urge to abandon discipline. All of these surfaced when there was nowhere left to hide. The purpose was not to destroy these shadows, but to see them clearly, to know them, and then to choose differently. This lunar phase is much the same. It is a mirror without light, asking you to notice the patterns that keep repeating, the habits that waste your energy, the voices that tell you you're small, the actions that no longer match the person you are becoming. These patterns thrive in unconsciousness. Bring them into awareness, and they begin to lose their hold. Shedding is an act of courage. It may feel like loss at first, but it is space being created. Just as a snake must leave behind its old skin to continue growing, you too must release what has grown too tight for you. Discipline ensures that release does not remain an idea. It becomes a living practice. The black moon's gift is not comfort but clarity. By entering your own shadows, you step into the work of transformation. What no longer serves is left behind, and in that emptiness, new life quietly begins. The strength that endures is not built in haste. It is formed through slow, deliberate practice, movements and breaths repeated until they sink beneath thought and become part of your very being. Ancient routines like HEANG and Qigong were born from this understanding. They were not designed merely to harden the body, but to refine the mind and awaken the energy that lies within. HEANG, the muscle tendon change classic, is a sequence of movements that stretch and strengthen not only the body but also the spirit. Each posture demands patience. Each breath carves away restlessness. Over time, it transforms stiffness into flexibility, weakness into resilience, distraction into focus. It is not the muscles alone that are changed, it is the character molded through discipline. Qigong, the practice of internal skill, is even subtler. It trains awareness of breath, circulation of energy, and the stillness behind every action. To sit, to breathe, to feel life moving quietly within you, this is Qigong. It teaches that true power does not shout. It rests in silence, waiting, unshaken by turbulence. Under the black moon, these practices take on deeper meaning. The world outside grows dark, but the inner world brightens with attention. Each stretch in HEANG becomes a way of releasing old tension. Each breath in Qigong becomes a seed of clarity planted in fertile soil. These routines remind us that mastery is built slowly, like drops filling a vessel. They amplify the energy of the black moon because they align with its essence, unseen, quiet, transformative. In a time when outer light is absent, these ancient practices teach you to cultivate the light that cannot be dimmed, the one that lives within. The world often praises the one who never stops moving. A full schedule, constant activity, a life that looks overflowing, this is mistaken for progress. Yet busyness alone does not mean growth. A spinning wheel moves endlessly, but it never leaves its place. Energy scattered in all directions cannot build depth. In the old ways, a disciple was never judged by how much he did, but by the presence he brought to what he did. Sweeping the temple floor with awareness was worth more than rushing through 10 tasks without attention. One path walked with focus leads further than 100 steps taken without care. Growth requires centering. It is the discipline of drawing energy back to the core instead of letting it leak into distractions. To sit in silence for a few breaths, to eat with full attention, to train with mind and body aligned, these simple acts gather strength. Scattered energy is like sunlight spread thin across the sky. Centered energy is the same light focused through a lens, able to ignite fire. The black moon emphasizes this lesson. Its darkness strips away the illusion of constant movement, leaving only the question what is truly necessary. In that silence, it becomes clear that activity without intention is emptiness in motion. True mastery does not chase endless tasks. It chooses a few essential actions and does them fully. This is how the spirit deepens, how discipline shapes the mind, how real progress is made. Growth is not measured by speed, but by direction. When energy is centered, every step strengthens the next. Without it, no matter how busy the path, you remain in the same place, untouched by the journey. Life has a way of slipping into routine without awareness. You rise, you move, you complete tasks. Yet the mind is elsewhere, already racing to the next thing. This is the danger of autopilot. It gives the illusion of living, while the essence of each moment is quietly missed. Ancient disciplines were designed to break this trance. Qigong, for example, is not only a sequence of movements, but a conversation with breath and energy. Each slow gesture is an invitation to return to the present, to feel how life flows through the body. To practice Qigong carelessly, rushing through motions, is to miss its purpose entirely. Its power is not in the form, but in the awareness carried through the form. The same is true of something as simple as breathing. Breath is always with you, yet often unnoticed. To pause and feel one inhale, one exhale,